we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone.
Good evening. Good evening, Tigercast family. Hope you're all doing well. I haven't played it for a little while. I played it last night actually with Andy Rains, and I didn't take notice of it. But then I just remembered. Still haven't changed that intro.
No, but next year's a new season. Yeah,
that's right. I've still got another couple of months worth of use out of that one, I reckon.
That's right.
How are you, brother? Doing well. I'm going well, thanks. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Hope everyone else is well.
Hopefully the Tigercast family doing well from wherever you are around the country or the world. Even we get international viewers these days, which is awesome. So
yeah, which is good.
Always very good. So we'll.
I had Dolly Parton send me a DM, which was much appreciated. Love you, Dolly.
Very nice. So we thought we'd do another catch up tonight. I suppose a bit of trade stuff, bit of footy new stuff. Just I suppose Richmond stuff in general, and just chat with you and the family in chat. But I guess we'll start off with. Maybe not the trade stuff because that's going to be interesting because of what Uzo's come out and said as well. But news come out tonight that it's not locked in just yet, but Mitch Cleary has really strongly hinted, as did John Ralph, about Luke Bruce coming on board as a development coach for Richmond next year. And then I heard as well Taylor Duray was another one who may come across as well in a developmental role. I think that's a great move, especially Luke Bruce. He's been an unbelievable small forward for Hawthorn. And that's probably a simplistic thing to say because he may not have anything to do with the small forwards. You would like him to have maybe some say and some input to help the likes of Seth Campbell and Morris Jr., Jasper Algar. Imagine being able to pick Luke Bruce brain for a season, 3 or 4 seasons, and utilize what he's learned over the journey. So I think if that does come to life, I think Luke Bruce will be a good addition, and it'll appease the masses who are complaining we haven't got anyone external come in for a long time, despite having 4 come in from external last year. So that'll be a good signing. And Taylor Duray, look, I don't mind him as a player. I don't know much about him from a coaching credential perspective, but what I do like is I am a big fan of development coaches being fresh out of the game because they have a bit more of an understanding of what's required at the level, and I just think it's more applicable and it's easy for them to teach and pass on knowledge.
Yeah, I agree. Look, for me, there's a couple of things. They're rookie coaches, right? So my expectation in relation to how they're going to help us tactically is very minimal, if at all. If their roles are development, because our list is so skewed, one way and the other. So we've got experience, we've got really, really young players. They're going to be, nothing but a help for us. Just in relation to getting them used to the AFL system, getting them used to, what you need to do in the training track to actually perform on field. And that's brilliant. So they're 2 good moves.
I agree. And you've got to think as well, we had 8 new players last year. We're going to have at least 2 this year. It could turn into 3.
We have to have 3.
Well, can someone confirm that in chat for me? We were talking about this off air, and we're not sure of the official rule. When it comes to the draft, is it for some reason in my head, I've always thought that you must take 3 national draft selections. Can someone in chat confirm, is that correct? Is that still the rule, or is it just list spots now? I don't know if they've changed it or not, but either way, there's going to be another 2 kids this year, another handful next year. So there's going to be a whole raft of young kids coming into our club. So having some more mentors there is going to be good. And then bolting on to, hang on, we'll answer this question. We'll go through this first.
Yeah, it is.
So 3 changes. So it's changes, is it? So it's just list spots. Okay, and rookie elevations are included. All right. So Campbell Gray, if memory serves me correct, is a rookie. So he's one who could be upgraded potentially. I'm not sure who our other ones are. I'm not sure if McKelty's
has he done enough? Has he done enough? I don't think so.
Yeah, I like him. I like what I see from him at AFL level.
Yeah. That's funny. I've got to think more on that one. I don't mind. I'm not knocking the kid. He's got talent. He's got but could we get
Andrew Zeiss is another rookie?
Is a list spot worthy?
I think you can hold it. I think you can have a rookie on there for 2 or 3 years. So this would be Campbell Gray's 2nd year, I think.
Yeah. He has to be upgraded, I think, from how I understand it. If he's not upgraded, he has to be delisted, and he hasn't been delisted. I think there's a cut-off point. that you can only
Yeah,
do
well,
with
Campbell got
the-
offered a contract recently, so he'll
well, there you go.
if he does have to be upgraded, I'm guessing he will. But I like him. I do like him. But in other changes to our coaching ranks, we had Jake Batchelor, who was our VFL coach this year, promoted to the defence or the backline coach, which I think is awesome and well deserved. He's had about 5 years in the VFL system at Sandringham. He was at Frankston for a little bit as well. And I've always just had a lot of respect for all VFL coaches who have to deal with the chopping and changing of sides and players coming in and out, manage minutes for AFL listed players and shit like that. And it sounds like he had a really good interview to put forward his plans for what he wants the defenders to do. But it's interesting though, isn't it, Tiggs? Because Steve Morris had that line, and that's, I think we would all, as Richmond supporters, agree that defense is probably the most settled part of our side. So what kind of things are we hoping that Jake Batchelor can bring to the defensive fold?
The way I sort of see it is Batchelor's going to merge the new blood with the old, because he's got now fresh eyes on that backline now that it's his. So I'm 100% sure in the forefront of his mind is Broad's age, Floston's age. How do we get Bolter to fit? What do we do with Short? Our young kids coming through, Gibcus, for example, Tash Houghton, not Houghton. I always get that. It's the head injury. What's that? The kid, I love him. Tall bloke. Trainer. I was. Yeah, he's my blank spot for some reason. Trainer, how do we get him locked in, and also with Banks and Brown? So yeah, because he's new in the sense, he'll be a lot of license to actually change it all around, see what the mix is, be a bit brave with it. And look, and that's really how you perceived how 2026 is going to be. 2026 really should be, okay, are we going to change the magnets around, and we might step back for a period of games, not the whole season, till a combination clicks. And then, okay, that's going to be our future back six for 6-7 years. So, and then we run off with that. So I'm pretty excited. From what I got told and what I've seen, when I've been at a VFL game, he's a really good communicator. But what I like about him is no bullshit. Like, he's straight down the line. You often see him doing this.
You need that. Yeah,
right? Yeah, and you need that. I'm pretty stoked that he's got this chance.
Without being in the inner circle of the club, from the outside looking in at the VFL, it very much looked like the players, both AFL listed and VFL listed, played for him 100%. To get to the wildcard spot with the changes that he had, he obviously had to have buy-in in what he was doing and executing. So yeah, I think it's a really good appointment. So I'm really happy with that one. Before we jump into the next coaching one, is this right, Skudoosh? Is that official? West Coast looking likely to lose pick 2? What's the latest there? I've not caught up on the socials. Feel free to fill us in on that one. That'd be huge.
That's if they get Starchevich. Because see, this is the thing. What I got, actually, we might, if you don't want, we'll segue a bit into it because you brought it in. From what I've been told, which I was going to share today, which I've shared pretty consistently all throughout the journey, is that if it was adamant as late as this afternoon. If West Coast gets 2, our plans dramatically change. If West Coast don't get 2, then we're just doing what Adam's saying. We're picking the knives out of 2 clear targets in the draft. Because as we said at the start of the year, and the way sort of that it was fed to me is this year we've got a couple of targets we're looking at. If we can get them great earlier, fine. But if not, we go to the draft, and next year's where we're going to go hunting. I think that's how I quoted it. We'll be going hunting in 26 and 27. And Adam, which was nice, in the press conference basically confirmed that. He said, we're going to still use the draft picks 2 and 3, and then, we free agents next year and the year after. So I was pretty, I brought my mate who gives me mail a beer for that, because it was basically word for word is how Adam said is how I heard it. But we have still got a few irons in the fire. Basically, think of Richmond as the shark, right? The domino, though, is West Coast number 2 pick. That's the domino. If they get it, watch our strategy change. We will have 3 and 4, and we might look to engage into a 3-way trade with, for example, Hawthorn and Essendon. 4 is going to have a lot of currency, because if you think about it, with Draper going and Essendon's block of picks that they're going to have, it's going to cost. If we can split 4 or get a player as part of 4 as well as keep a first-round pick, it's going to be interesting how we go. But we'll speak more about that a little bit later.
Yeah, That's what I see happening too. I see us as using pick 4 as a mechanism to broker deals for other clubs to benefit ourselves as much as we humanly possibly can. And that's probably where I guess that we haven't, I don't think we fully rule out a Roses, or if it's Hawthorn, let's say Batchelor or something like that, because yeah, it just depends on what happens with West Coast. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. We'll roll back into that one a little bit later.
Yeah.
Though.
I just want to answer that. Even if starts if it's a free agent, which he is, that does, regardless if it's via trade or non-trade, that does reduce the level of compensation.
I don't think it will if he gets traded. I think it bypasses it. It doesn't impact.
If he gets traded, yeah, he has to be traded. So
Yeah.
if you look at West Coast's currency at the moment, there's no way I can see. I don't know. I don't know how they'll work that out to trade him for a second rounder.
Yeah, so it depends on if West Coast have just offered him a contract as a free agent, or if they're going through the trade path, which I guess will come out in the wash.
They've offered him a contract.
Soon.
If they've offered him a contract and they haven't gone via trade, hopefully that means they don't get 2.
Fingers crossed. I mean, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Hey, John, how are you, mates? I'm all in on Sullivan Roby. Don't you worry about that. I'll touch on him a bit after as well. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. My only question mark is, are the picks we have too high to use? But to round out the rest of the conversation we were starting on, in terms of the coaching appointments, Sam Lonergan has been promoted to, no, that's right, it was my fault, has been promoted to the midfield stoppage coach. He's been leading our development for, I think, the last 5 or 6 years. He's been doing various roles. And what's interesting about this is this will now mean that we have an additional assistant on board next year that we didn't have this year. We obviously put our eggs into the development basket. Maybe the soft cap's increasing. I'm not too sure when that goes up and how much it goes up by. But we've been able to, add another coach to the ranks. I'm guessing he'll work alongside Blake Carosella. And I suppose taking the forward line out of it, because that's the other part of the ground we need help with, stoppages would be the one thing we do need to get better at. I think we can all universally agree on. So if we've got some more solid eyeballs on that and some help in that space, me connecting the dots, and I might be completely wrong, but because of his previous role and his relationship with the kids, I'm hoping that the reason why he's moving into this stoppage role is because the kids he's been working with are going to be moving into that stoppage scenario as well. So he's already got that relationship.
Yeah, we can hope. Like, see, the thing is that the reason our percentage, what is it, finished on 66 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, really low. Is our back line, thank God we have our back line, but our midfield and our system in the midfield and forward lines are absolute shambles. We all know why, right? So my only thing with Lonergan, like, I love the fact that he's now got given this opportunity, but maybe the community can give me a hand. Didn't he early on, I think it was in even Hardwick's, didn't he get like a stint as a stoppage coach in the seniors? There was a period of time where he got a stint in it. And that period of time that he was doing it, we had the worst stoppage result that we ever had. But that's not on him. That's on obviously other things that would have caused that. But look, he knows the kids, he knows their talent, he knows their temperament, which is the big thing. So yeah, getting him in that midfield. Hopefully, look, Taranto had a fantastic year. Hopper had a fantastic year, but hopefully, Uze goes. Look, we can't play both of them together at all times. Sometimes 15 minutes or 5 minute, 10 minute a quarter if we need to. Getting him there. Hopefully, he goes. You know what? We've got other options. Let's change it up. Because what's killing us is the spread in the midfield. We have no defensive spread. We can't. That's why we get cut up so badly, unless we play teams similar to ours, and then we can contain them. But and we look really good. But if we can do something with that spread in the midfield, control the outer ring, that was Hardwick's one would. Give them first possession. Let's control that outer ring and make sure we win that next ball. And all the finals teams do that really, really well. So it's still a current viable method. Yeah,
it's still current.
System. Yeah, but we just don't adopt it. For whatever reason, we've gone from being the school teacher, fucking headmistress. What's the saying?
The headmaster, the principal.
I was going to say headmistress, headmaster of it, to being just, not even doing it. So, yeah, let's hopefully we change that next year.
And I'm hoping, I say this with hope, not with knowledge or fact, but I'm hoping that a lot of what we saw this year with the midfield makeup was maybe a little bit about protecting the younger guys as well, just for this fraction of the season. You'd love to see. I've got my vibe is that we'll start the season with what we saw at the end of last year, and I think we'll start seeing the mix change as the season gets on.
Yeah.
I think we have to, and I think if we don't, then there will be some alarm bells like we spoke about today.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Tim Taranto. I do want to give him a big shout out and congratulations for polling the 20 votes in the Brownlow last night, finishing, I think, in the top 7, which is an amazing effort in a year that we were obviously didn't play well as a team, but I think we all universally could tell that he had a great individual season, as did Jacob Hopper. I know the argument will be that there wasn't many players to take votes off him, and that's somewhat fair and reasonable, but to still poll 20 votes in a team that finished second last, when you consider that West Coast polled 12 votes as an entire club, I think is a really good year for him, and he'll go from strength to strength. So I thought he did really, really well. And
just to defend him a little bit, because I hear that, and it sort of pisses me off when people say, "Oh, yeah, but who are the Richmond players going to take votes off him?" It's not that. He's playing in a side that's getting smashed, right? So it's not his fellow players that are going to take votes off him. It's the opposition players that are going to votes off him. But he still managed to get the attention of the umpires and AFL, because we all know the AFL sort of tells them who's going to win, to get a level of votes. So no, good on him. Look, if we didn't have him, would have been absolutely nutted, right? That's just so. I don't discount the value of those two. It's just I think we just need to really change our mix with the both of them. So it's just putting them on different lines at various stages. If we do that, it'll honestly solve a lot of the issues. Yeah, let's hope so. I've said this before, that I think it will actually then add more experience to the forward line, which is a part of the ground we're inexperienced in. So I actually think it's a two-pronged win in a lot of ways. Connor, I'm going to tweak that to Karen. Thank you, mate. I did not know that. I'll be doing that straight after the show. Straight after the show. Tag him in. Hey, did you realise? Yeah, fantastic. Not in the top 150 players. Jesus. Yeah, good get. No, he was good. And I suppose there was I saw a comment before. I didn't pop it up because we were going through other stuff. Just in relation to the forward line coach, which I believe will still be Chris Newman. And whilst I can understand the frustration, I just want to put it out there and reiterate again. Given how long it's been since Chris Newman played football, I think it bears zero relevance that he played as a defender. He's been a head coach. He's been line coaches at different clubs in different areas. I think the big piece of the forward line puzzle is the fact that we had zero experience down there for bulk of it. And because of that, opposition could intercept mark, and we took our own small forwards out of the game. That, and your point earlier with the midfield not really clicking and doing what it needed to do, and the poor delivery, we could have had Tony Lockett coaching our forward line and not done much better. Yes, I really don't think it would have mattered. Yeah, I sort of agree with you. Like, I really do ascribe to the fact that you don't have to be the best player in your position to be the best coach for that position, right? So I'm not hating on Chris Newman for that. What worries me is that in Hawthorn, what lines did he coach that he had success on? I truthfully can't remember which lines he coached. It wasn't forward from what the research I've done. So we're asking a bloke who's had some smattering of experience in that line to actually run it. And so he had that go. He had that crack. And for the full year, it wasn't, I don't believe, personnel caused a lot of issues. I'm not dismaying that. But I don't look at personnel. I look at system. How are these forwards moving? Where are they moving to? Where do they go when we do the turnover up the ground? How are they spreading the ball? And literally for Ingham, and this is not a hateful thing, but it looked to me, they're just playing. And then the club came out very late in the year. Oh, yeah, with the forward line, we don't have very many moving parts because they're so young. And also, I think a way to go on a bat for Newman saying, hey, listen, because if you can't communicate some semblance of system to younger kids, then it's not the younger kids' fault. It's your ability to communicate to them. So I don't prescribe to the you could have the best way I can analyse this, guys, this is where I come from. Look at Hardwick when he took over the list. What was it in 2009 he took over the list? Was it 9 and 10? Yeah, 2009, wasn't it, when he took over? We had the worst list since Fitzroy. We've been told that twice now. Yeah, but we did. We had the worst list since Fitzroy. It took him 2 off seasons, right? And he literally changed that list by 70%. right? He listed a lot of rubbish, and then he recruited kids in. But as he recruited the kids in, he kept us competitive. Well, yeah, the first 10 games we lost. But every year after that, two things happened, which hasn't really happened for us. Oh, well, no, it has happened this year compared to the last two. And he got smashed with it. I got surprised. So I still got a little ladder comparing the two, right? Just a bit of a fun game, keeps me amused. In his second year, third year, he improved wins as well as percentage, right? Now, fairness, Uze did have greater injury in his first year. That's why I don't even count this. I don't even count it. But go watch some of those 2010 and 11 games. Even though we've got a really shit forward line, they know where to go. They know where to run. They know where to set up. They know what to do. That's what I don't see. Now, is that all Newman's fault? No. Right? But again, the coaches know more than me. I'm just a bloke at Roxburgh Park, just talking about what I see. But I just hope next year we see a bit more system. I reckon if you start seeing that system, then it's going to translate to not wins. I don't give a shit about wins. It's going to improve our percentage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there we go. So
right,
we do some forwards. Okay.
And Jill, where did they finish that last year? Because that's what I saw, and it wasn't good reading, particularly with the talent that they had there at that forward line on his last year. But look, again, I'm not hating Newman. I just think I would have loved for us to go on for a specialist forward coach. We've gone, all right, we've got an issue in the forward line midfield. I know we've got these coaches here. Let's get the best in the country to join us.
I'm happy to give him some grace for a year or two to let him settle and find their groove. But to your point, whether they're an experienced coach, inexperienced coach, it's kind of irrelevant, I think, for all of us, because next year we still need to see incremental improvements in different parts of the game. And that comes through game plan and system. That comes through ball movement. That comes through the percentage. And if we can just improve our forward line by 10 or 15%, we will see a drastic difference in us staying in games for longer and obviously amending the percentage thing. Because I think, and the midfield needs to do this as well, but defensively we hold up well enough to maintain the percentage in a good area, typically, but we do need to make sure midfielders are working hard defensively to reduce that load. But it's just offensively, we just weren't able to bridge the gap. So we do need to work on that. I've got no doubt that they'll get to work on that. But what's going to be interesting for me is the makeup of the key forwards in the forward line this year. I'm still torn because in an ideal world, from an experience perspective, getting games into kids, you'd want to go with Lynch and then Armstrong and Fall, for example. But I just found that as the year went on, Fall and Armstrong, and no fault of their own, but they would end up kind of fading and drifting out of games. And opposition defenders are so experienced and so clever that they would outmark everybody almost every contest, and then the ball would never get to the ground for our smalls to get to work. Yeah. So if we do want to play the two inexperienced kids with Lynch, I think we have to reassess our ball movement, which we probably have to do anyway. But if we do go with a McKelty or someone experienced with Lynch and then one inexperienced player, I think that can work, and I think that will make us more competitive over the course of the season.
The thing I don't want to see is three tall forwards. It doesn't work. Right?
You don't reckon? It sounds like they're adamant on it.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Name a premiership that's run three tall forwards.
Well, I mean, the Crows looking okay.
Yeah, they did. But then they went to finals and they got out in straight sets. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? And I'll explain to you. When you've got a good team with a good system, having three talls is a great luxury. You'll be able to, because they're not all leading into the one area, right? Because they're coached properly. They know where to spread and so you'll generate and you'll win. But when it becomes contested and pressured and the ball's coming in messy and those three talls will appear slow, right? You can't, the taller you are, you don't become faster as the game goes on, right? You don't lose your height, but you lose a lot of the speed. And it always comes up time and time again. If you go with a really lopsided, too tall forward line, it doesn't work. That's why teams just don't do it. But in saying that, parking that for a second, what I want to see is, and one of the comments has sort of bridged on my point before I had a chance to say it. I don't care who we put in the forward line, really. Just that they act like independent forwards. At the moment, we've got a forward line that, and this is not the kids' fault, they all lead to the same spot. So they'll clumper up or cluster. So the smalls, on your point, can't get the ball because the forward lines, if all of them are clustered in one spot, a good side will just kick past them. So and it won't help the midfield. So for me, what I want to see is let's kill that three tall forwards. If Adam wants to die on the hill with the three tall forwards, let him. But if Newman's the forward coach, he should be saying to him, hey, mate, it's not working. Let's just run with the traditional two tall forwards, a couple of mediums, a couple of smalls, and if we need to base it on opposition, some games three talls will work on, right? But that's what I want to see, that intelligence, that IQ. Okay, we're playing Carlton. Geelong, they've got small defenders. All right, let's line up with talls. Let's give it a crack. Oh, no, shit, now we're playing against Collingwood, right? They've got X, Y. All right, we've got to go small. We don't do that. But I get why. Yeah. But, I don't like that three-tall experiment. It's shown for 2 years. Well, again, they're young and there've been injuries, and let's keep on saying the same thing. But our forward line doesn't function. I would just want them to normalise a bit. Because, other point, how many times games in the VFL or in the juniors would have been going up when there's all tall forwards, three tall forwards up in a forward line as a forward? So not many times. So let's just normalise their football experience a bit.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think we'll see a lot of the three talls this year again. I hope not. I think where they're torn is a lot of it's going to be trying to fast track development too. My thing is, if we didn't believe in three forwards as a club, we shouldn't have drafted that many.
Spot on, Christian. Can you just highlight Christian? Can you highlight Christian for me? He thinks the same as
this one.
Yeah. He's spot on. If we see, we can't have three deep forwards that are all tall, right? We need to change it up. We need one of them. So if I don't think Rucks, I think one plays traditional centre half forward. With Matthew Richardson, we got him up towards the ring. So someone plays really high. That roaming,
which I think one of them will do. I think Fall could do that.
Fall's got the agility to do that, right? Get him to run up the ground. Leave Lynch and Armstrong deep. Get him to run up the ground. Then it will work.
Yeah. So your point is the three forwards just don't work if they're all crowded together in the 50 together.
Yeah,
if they spread out, it can work when they're not in each other's way. Okay,
spot on, because we're saying to the three of them, you're the main forward. They're all playing like number one forwards, right?
Yeah.
So they're all getting in each other's way. That's the thing.
Maybe that's what they're working towards, hopefully.
I hope so.
They can coexist, but like you said, they just can't cluster each other's area, which is hopefully we can bypass that and see. But I'm excited to see what they do in the future, because I think they're all very, very talented.
I'm so excited for next year. I'm so excited. So don't misunderstand me, those that haven't heard me before, or thinking I'm super negative and I'm a coaching hater. I'm not. We've got so much going right for us. And we've got a really smart plan in relation to how to improve our list. But and you guys know me. If I think something, I'm going to say it if I feel it. So, I'm really looking forward to next year.
And there was a good point made before about not having necessarily a good link-up player, like a medium half forward.
Yeah.
I reckon, and that's where I'm really sold on Jasper Alger being that player. I reckon he's got really good footy IQ, and he's a good
you love him.
ball.
Yeah, you love him. I like him. I'm not in love, but I like him. Yeah, I like him. I do. But again,
he's a point of difference for us. He's a small that plays medium, but I think he can be a good link-up player between the arcs.
That's who I want. I reckon Taj Hotton's our link-up. I can see Taj Hotton because he's disposal by foot.
Yeah, Taj can be a bit of a
Taj. Yeah, he's he's our transition player. They're worth it. You need two on a list in actual on game day. He's one of them, and he's going to be at next generation level. That's why, for me, it hurt us so badly when we didn't have Smiley. Right, because I've seen a lot of his junior. He can change. I hope this makes sense. He can change the look of a contest. So it might be players are throwing themselves body at the ball. Next thing you know, Smiley's the one that's managed to pry the ball out, keep his arms free, taken 3 or 4 steps, and open that inner ring to an outer ring and then transition the ball out. He did that every game he played. And we're crying out for it. That's why I hope we put him in the guts as soon as he's ready.
Reading between the lines, I actually think the club feel like Lawler could be that player too. I get this vibe that they see more as a half
I reckon
forward.
He could. Yeah,
but in an alternating manner, like one's playing midfield, one's playing forward, swap him around.
And that's why I would like to see him swap with who. I reckon I'd love to see him swap with either Hopper or Taranto. So that breaks that mix. But we'll see. But yeah, we've got so much to be excited about.
It's a good question, Birdman. Who will be our Smith and Holmes? I mean, I'm guessing you're talking maybe in regards to running capacity, possibly. If you've got a different angle on that question, let us know. But I kind of interpret it that way. I don't know. It's a really good question. And, as much as we all shit can Geelong, you've got to respect the fact that they got it right a lot of the time to still be competing. And Smith and Holmes just run and run and run all day. And do we have anyone on our list right now that can replicate and do what they do? I'm not sure from a running capacity perspective. I don't know. And this is where, to sidetrack into the draft very quickly, this is where a Javan Philippou becomes a really interesting prospect, or Philippou, however you say it, with his decathlon athletic freak of nature background. Maybe he could be that running weapon, but I'm just not sure about the footy side of the game in totality yet. But you'd love like a Taj to become like that, but he's going to be more explosive.
Yeah.
Seth Campbell's going to be more explosive. I guess, and I suppose, Sophie, this is not a bad shout. Unfortunately, injuries sort of hurt at the moment, but Juddy Clark would be one of them. I think that's a really good call. And that's why I think there's definitely a spot for Juddy Clark still on the wing. I'm backing him in to come back from this knee and get a spot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've got Ralph Smith, which is a runner. We got him as a runner.
And
he does that part of the job. He does that job really well. But is the AFL standard? Like what I mean, AFL 22 standard. That's his biggest question he hasn't answered. So next year, because we're crying out for that run. We're desperate for that run. We're desperate for that Lambert. Not having Lambert really hurt us, a Lambert type. So we need those. You need two of them at least. They close down space. They run. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Banks. I mean, Banks could be another one, but geez, he looks good at halfback.
But does he have endurance?
Like, a lot of you might have seen the video that I had been doing about trying to pick a best 22 that's 26 years old and under, and I was working on the wings as the most recent video, and that really was a wow moment for me that we are not in a great spot for young wings. I mean, Trezise has played it a little bit.
Brown
Smith has played it a little bit.
Tom Brown, junior, he as a junior he was a halfback winger, and we haven't allowed him go on the wing for some reason. He was elite as a winger because he was kicking. He was elite and his run,
And I think if we were to poll everyone in chat, I think we would all agree that we want the ball in Tom Brown's hands a lot more than what we saw in 2025. And I don't know whether it was by design, but if Banks and Short are your two halfbacks, you would probably rather Trainer go back to defense because he plays better there and put Tom Brown on the wing and maybe unleash him a bit with his running and his long kicking.
You saw how upset I was getting every time I saw Trainer playing on the wing, and I'm just thinking, it's like asking a Ferrari to fucking, excuse the language, to tow my hay barrels in the farm. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you put him where he's really, really good at defense and put something that's been as a junior for a lot of his junior career? I'd say about 80% of it. He was a halfback winger with beautiful foot skills, who doesn't mind a bit of biff, will go in and get that ball, can run into the midfield and be that release player that the inside can release to, and we didn't do it. And it just did my head in. Absolute did my head in. Hopefully we don't do it next year. Hopefully because it's crazy. We've got the answers on the list.
We do. We're just got to. And I know Brown's tank probably isn't to the right spot, to your point there, Jalen Roberts, but he can work on that, though. He can work on that.
No, but you watch Brown in the juniors. He would do it all day. Yes, he had his injury while coming to us, but he's over that now. Get him trained. If we need to, I don't know if endurance runners get trained differently from the rest of the list. From how I read the endurance guys when he first got appointed, it's all about repeat effort. Obviously, Brown is getting the same conditioning. So, I have no doubt he can play as a halfback or a winger. And when I say halfback, a running halfback, someone to actually spread up the ground. That's what we need.
And I did another video today, draft related, that this is why I think, and we can kind of segue into some trade stuff. If my view is, if Tyler Young is traded and we receive a pick,
he's gone. He's gone. I'd be gobsmacked if he left. He'd stayed.
I really believe we need to find a way to use that pick and convert it into taking Harley Barker from Sturt in the Sandful, because he is a prototype winger. The only downside is that he actually also did his ACL in June or July, so we'll miss bulk of the year, kind of similar to Taj Houghton. But I think we're in a position where that doesn't matter to us. Like, I'm not worried about the now. I'm worried about what our wing looks like in 3, 4, 5 years, and we can get by this year. It is what it is. So I would, if we can manufacture another pick, because Harley might slide a little bit. He's very talented, but if clubs only have one pick in the draft at sort of in the 15s to 20s, they might be a bit nervous to take him. So we might need to try and get to the 30s, which may not happen. But yeah, if we get a pick for Tyler Young, then I would be going after Harley Barker if we can make it happen. But on the Tyler Young, I've heard the same thing, that he's weighing up 3 contracts, and my gut feel is always if they haven't signed by now, I know they go away and stuff, but there's typically a stronger sense that they will leave if they haven't already signed. Yeah.
And generally, if they haven't announced it, it's because one of the teams in the finals that was in the finals is the team that he's going to probably going to.
I'm not sure that'll be the case for Tyler. Well, I reckon I've heard it was West Coast and maybe Bulldogs with the other one.
Yeah, no, I heard a little bit that it's one of the final sides. I'm not confident call which one yet, because it's still too early, as he's got multiple options. But yeah, I've got a really strong feeling he's gone. But is his going to help us facilitate a trade? That could be the other thing that's holding it up. Like, because are we segueing into the trade stuff, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So hold on. Okay. So just making sure I don't.
Justin, I'm not sure what the offers are, other than from what I was told, that Tyler's preference would be to stay with Richmond if we can match what the longest contract offer is that he's got in front of him. We know that money's not going to be an issue from our perspective. I think what the issue is going to be is the length of contract. I mean, this is a chance for Tyler to shore himself up financially and his family. He's going to get one crack at doing this, and he's, funnily enough, at his highest value right now.
Yeah.
On the back of the last part of his season. So I don't blame him one bit for trying to get the most out of this as he possibly can. I would rather keep him personally.
Yeah.
But if it's too good to refuse for him, then I respect that as well.
Yeah, look, I rate him, and I was being consistent with it when I was getting mocked sometimes. I rate him as our best tall defender in relation to a lockdown role. And he's proved that with his one-on-one rating and all that sort of stuff. But gut feel for me is West Coast is probably where he will land. That's the easy path. But I don't know if that, from what I heard, is that the one that's paying the most. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But for me, what I see we're doing, if guys listen back to when I first started, how I said this draft won't be sexy, but the strategy I gave you, it was nice that it was confirmed. So, but it does hinge on that pick too. If we keep 2 and 3, we will go to the draft for 2 and 3, right? I got told we've got two players 100% locked in. Go to the bank with it. That's what we're going to go for. But if West Coast does get pick 2, that means we get shunted down to 3 or 4. That 4th pick, there might be something we'll be able to do with it. Either split it or get involved in the trade. I've heard Butler's name coming up from the Hawks in relation to Richmond. Now, am I saying we're aggressively hunting him? But he was a name that I've heard a bit, and it hasn't gone away. And I had to confirm this morning. Yeah, Butler's another name that if we could get something done, the way I see it for this year, we're just observing what other clubs are doing. If there's an opportunity to strike, we will. But we're very focused. But next year's when we're going hunting. Next year, I'm going to really enjoy it. Because next year, I'll drop a couple of names early. This is lock it in, and then I'll just follow it and update as I go along. Because next year, we will get a free agent into the club. But Butler's the other name. It's probably the one that I'm now starting to firm with. We might to see what we can do with it. He's got an offer from Hawthorn. He's had an offer from Hawthorn for a while now. He's showed what he can do in finals.
He had a really good finals.
He did. Yeah, and players' currencies go right up in finals. So I could see something happening if we have to get 4 and we have to not either split it or help Hawthorn get Zach Merritt.
I think so too. And I mean, I sort of
And we
flagged
could do
something similar like that.
a player plus a
weeks
pick,
ago.
or something to get back,
Yeah,
So
if Hawthorn are serious with the merit thing, which it seems like they are, then their current pick 8 is not going to be a good enough starting point
no,
for
it won't be.
Australia,
No, it
which
won't
is fair
be.
enough. That's understandable.
Yeah.
And that's where I always felt like that we could help facilitate that by, getting that pick 8 for pick 4 and then maybe something else. I don't know how it all works with swapping back in and future picks and shit like that. But the crux of it was 4 for 8 and then maybe, a player if Sam Butler's deemed someone that we would go after. I think we could be facilitated. I think Gold Coast would be another one as well. There was a lot of speculation about them having a real crack at Charlie Curnow. Whether or not that eventuates, I don't know the odds of that happening. But that then sort of sparks conversations. Do they need to make a trade to try and get ahead of some bids? And I don't know, for a long time, it always just felt like they were the most obvious club to split with because of their positioning, on the basis that they were going to trade Flounders to someone to get another pick in for points. And that's where I always felt that the Roses thing might happen, not in a separate trade, but in a bundle part of that. And I had heard recently that Malcolm Roses was still keen on us. Whether or not that factually comes out, I don't know. But the only way I can see us getting a player now would be via them being bundled into us splitting a pick to help out facilitate.
That's how I see it. Breaker, is it? I don't know how to say your first name, mate. Who's the free agent? I've been constant with this. We're into Butters, right? We've been into Butters. We seriously think he's the perfect type of player that we want to inject into our list. And that's the player that I'm hearing that, we are going actively for. And I'm hearing that from, I don't doubt where I'm hearing it from. So, Butters is one that's really high up on our list for next year. And I was always hopeful to start, could we do something to bring him a year earlier so they get maximum value? But from everything I've heard up to date, next year's a big year. The way it sort of got sold to me is if we show that there's a level of improvement, if there's a level of improvement with us for next year, that's going to, hopefully that helps in swaying. So Butters knows he's not going to be just mired in the bottom 4, that we're in the process about to explode. So, but he's the perfect player that we hear. But that's the player. That's the player that I'm hearing again and again and again and again. With Roses, this is
Mark,
the thing.
when did that happen, Mark? Did that happen in the last couple of hours? Because that would have been everywhere by now, I would imagine. But I had heard that he was leaning towards us, but I didn't know how factually true it was.
Yeah, so I think we've identified. Look, do I think we'll get Butler across? I hope so. I'm not fully confident. I don't think we're going to have the currency if Roses is now nominated as. That means we sort of have to commit to him, because they generally don't nominate a club if we haven't sort of given you a wink and a nod. All right, we'll take you and we'll make it happen. But But Butters, Butler, he knows the club. He's been at the club a lot, particularly when his brother was with us, family functions and stuff. I just keep that name, see what happens. If he doesn't re-sign in the next week or two, I think he'll start to heat up. And keep in mind, guys, I'll get more. Like I told Michaels, I'm getting better. Not better. I'm not fully back, but I'm getting more good days than bad days now. So I'll throw myself into this shit now again. And I'm enjoying it.
And
so
they did also
come
out and say that they were hitting the draft and not looking to trade. And I guess this is where these types of things are a little bit different, because we're not actively looking to trade a player or a pick for another player. It's just if a player can be thrown in as part of the deal to get it over the line to swing into our favor, then I guess we obviously entertain those ideas. It's really interesting. There's obviously the use of futures as well, but next year is going to be jam-packed for us.
It is.
With a few players on the cards there in the draft.
Yeah, it is too. And the Hopper noise is not going away. That's what I heard. Us, trading Hopper, open to trade Hopper. He's not getting one. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying he's gone, but I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard. And my mate would know because he's in that circle, and obviously his manager's talking to other managers, and his name's coming up. But we'll see. It'll be interesting.
So Butters is a restricted free agent for next year. So Port would have the ability to match if they wish to do so. If he wants to leave, I know that he has said that he wants to play in Adelaide this year or next year, should I say? But then what happens after that? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. The other one that I would really love, and his name just popped up on my screen, Paul Zach Bailey was another one that I'd love to go after. But I think even from a couple of weeks ago, it sounded like Essendon were really keen as well.
They're going to.
He'd be a quality addition if you could get him.
Yeah, they did what they did with Reid. Like I sort of said, they're going to offer mountains of money. They're going to offer. One funny thing with Essendon, if any Essendon lovers are on this chat, one of the reasons they're having their board, they're starting to implode, is one part of their elite or board or whatever you want to call them, don't want them to sell the farm to try to get immediate turnaround of improvement, and the other half want to. And it's now they're coming into a big explosion. So it'll be interesting to see what we can get out of the fallout. Look, for me, it's going to be interesting because they're going to need to currency of our second, third stringers that we might. Yeah, see, that's what the club can do. If we've got players that you're not hearing their name yet, can very quickly go, hey, Essendon's just, throwing stupid money or stupid deals for us. It's much too good to. We might shunt a player off to them. So it's going to be interesting this offseason.
And I'm guessing someone else in chat may have heard, but I've not heard any developments on Dow, Sonzi, Caleb Smith. It just very much feels like we're now waiting to see. The way I take it is we're waiting to see what happens on draft, not to see if we have to split pick, or not if we have to, but if we want to split picks to bring in another player, which then takes a spot. And that's why we're not committal at the moment. Is that how 100%. Everyone else seems to take it 100%. As well?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, interesting. And then I guess the other spot we need to look to fill, not necessarily next year, maybe, but probably the year after, would be Ruck. Look, I still don't buy into the Duff Tytler as being a solution because he won't be ready. I really do firmly believe that our next Ruck will have to be via a trade or a free agent, someone who's mature and ready to go. I don't know who that's going to be.
I heard. I don't know if it's a lock.
Targeting that soon.
I don't know if it's a lock, but the Sydney Ruckman. Oh God, I didn't write it down. Ladhams. He's playing. He's playing Sandful or whatever they call it, the Sydney VFL more. He hardly plays a senior game now, but as a stopgap, Ladhams. Yeah, the noises he's going to. He's looking for another club, and there might be something there that we might be able to do if we want to bring him in. It's not saying we are going to grab him, but he's definitely open fish.
I don't think the ruck rule does change it for us, Birdman. I just don't think by the time you need him to play, if Nate retires in 2 years, CDT or Sims both will not be ready to ruck.
They won't be ready. No.
The rule doesn't matter. They won't be ready to ruck because you've still got the centre bounce. You're still going to have throw-ins. They will not be physically ready. So I don't think it matters either way. And in the meantime, where else is he playing on the ground? Because we just picked up 3 forwards. We've still got Liam Fawcett. I just don't see how he logically fits in to the club based on timings, based on the players we've got, and based on when Nate's going to retire. And we'll need someone well before he'll be ready to do it. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. I just don't think he fits us and where we're at.
We do need to give Nank a rest. We need to start splitting the load.
We're smashing him, aren't we?
Yeah,
we are obliterated. And I think it might have been you that mentioned it. It's going to be a Van Marriage 2.0.
It is. Yeah, it is, which is heartbreaking because if we get just some support, that's why I've sort of gone into, now don't crucify me, but if we don't bring in, let's say via trade, an experienced ruck, just to take the hits, like Peter, Bolt is the one that I've sort of identified in my mind, right? Because what I'll do, they're two different. He can jump, he can go for the tap, but get him, and he can run around the ground. He can have his, do his bolter shit. If he does get that possession,
which I like,
smash it 60 meters. But we need, and then you can have Nank, and if Nank wants a rest, he swaps position with Bolter. So as a team balance, we don't throw the team balance out. So that's what we're probably earmarked. Let's put Bolter, 30%. That's all he needs. 30% rucks in the center, 70% in the back line. And for the love of God, Adam, I know you watch the show, mate. Keep him in the back line, mate. Keep him in the back line.
He said that to me at the presser. He said that Noah Bolter is a backman. So I asked him specifically
keep him in the back line. Leave him there.
I don't like. I like the headless chook Bolter.
Why would you recruit? This is I hate people that recruit forwards and then don't play them because they play backmans in forward positions. Just play him as a forward. I mean backman. Give him stints in the center square. See how we go.
And I know we sort of touched on it. Yeah, Nank only had the 1 game off this year against Essendon,
it's crazy.
Which it's not sustainable. It doesn't matter. Not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the club's still holding out a glimmer of hope that Samson Ryan can fill a void and give him a chop out every now and then. Hayes Brown could be a bit of he might progress further again. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
That's a good point,
Christian.
Christian, it's funny, mate. You got the name of he would have been my second eldest son, Christian. And there's a reason for it because you make sense. Yeah, no, he's, Christian. That's exact. Geelong do it all the time. This is it for me. Football's plagiarism, yeah? What you do, you see what the successful sides do, and you copy it, right? We're just seeing, particularly with positions of players, we ignore their experience. Like Brown is my biggest one. He's a halfback winger. He's done it all junior career. So we stymie that run, the ability to run up the ground and link. And you're not doing that at Richmond. You've got to do, like Sonzi is the other one. You can't play midfield. Sorry. We want you. It shits me to tears. But the good news, which I truly believe, is when we go head hunting, that's when you actually trade in for needs, right? You draft your talent, but you trade. Then you look at your list where it sits. Then you target positions in your list that you need to fill. And we've done that with Hardwick's reign, and we'll do that with Uzo, I have no doubt.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Ned Moyle, it's a good shout. I've seen a few people, Birdman, and you're obviously one of them, mention Ned Moyle. He would be a good get. And these ruckmen, or second string ruckmen, should I say, they'll be very well aware of what senior rucks are kind of getting phased out, and they'll be queuing up to try and get in a number one ruck spot. So I don't think that we will have any issue in trying to find if we're trading for one, for example. But Ned Moyle's a really good shout. I really like the proposition of him having a crack. What else do we have to talk about? I think, was there any other names? So obviously, I guess I just want to flag as well that you mentioned early on a few weeks ago about Will Brodie and Sardis from Essendon. And I know people didn't like the names, but then it comes out that Brodie's asked for a trade, even though I think he had 1 year left. Yeah. And Sardis can now communicate he's going to recommit to Essendon. So whilst obviously we didn't land him, which is fine, it was just good to see the names did sort of come out in a moving capacity just to sort of validate.
I'm glad you mentioned that
from your person.
This is what I do, guys. I'll give you names that I hate using the word my sources. I feel like a dick saying that because it's so pretentious, but you get what I mean. People, my mates that are in the industry that I hear from. So I'll hear the names, right? So I'd love to say to you, well, you know what, Michaels? It's Will Brodie and we're after him and he's going to be out. No, I'll just tell you the truth. I don't make up bullshit. So I'll tell you, all right, this is what I've heard, and I wouldn't be surprised. And then they'll say, his name's there. I wouldn't be surprised if Richmond just has a chat. So mid-year, just generally what you get. So that's why I'll tell you blokes then what I hear. And trust me, and Michaels, get ready, mate. Just, when the trade period starts to heat up, a week into trade period is the gold for me, just before the draft. That's the gold for me. And then we'll do a show, if I can make it go an hour. And
probably more next year, though. It feels like there might not be much on the table for us this year.
But if I hear any news that I think that is going to be a lock, I'll just and it might, just tune in for that 15, 20 minutes. But so okay, well there you go. So C4 I rate. So that's what I'm so I'll give you the solid info because you're my online fam, right?
That's it.
Can I give a shout out?
It was just interesting to see that it did come out. Yeah, go on.
My wife, right? I don't know if you caught my tweet, but she's a now fully qualified paramedic.
I did. Well done. Yes.
Yeah, she came to me at 50 years old. She's 53 now, but when she was 50, turning 50, she wasn't happy. And I go, "What's wrong, love?" Because she was doing part-time as a medical receptionist. She did it for 2 years. Prior to that, she didn't work at all because, I'd prefer to sacrifice and my kids have a mum at home because that's how I grew up, right? But anyway, so I said, "So what do you want?" She goes, "Oh, and I said, "What? Think of something." She goes, "You know what? I would love to have been a paramedic, but I can't do that now. I'm too old." And I said, "I'm not saying this is me." I said, "No, let's make it work." And if you really want to do it, but to her credit, she went in through uni with all the 20-year-olds. They really made her work for it. Like grad year is supposed to be only 1 year. For her, it was like 16 months.
Jesus.
Right? Yeah, because they obviously because of her, I don't know why. I don't want to, but Ambulance Victoria, Chef Kiss, I love you. They've been great with her to give a 50-year-old the crack.
That's good on her.
Yeah, and I'm super proud. I'm super proud
as
of
you
it.
should be. As you should be.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry for going off track, but
No.
yeah,
Out to
wanted to
Fine.
mention it.
Elijah Hollins, I've not heard anything more on this. I still
No.
personally, the last I heard was that he had started to clean his act up 3 or 4 months ago when Carlton had said that he was getting the arse.
Yeah, we won't be touching him.
If that is true, I would be open to the conversation if it's for a packet of twisties. But I don't know how. I've not heard anything else since then.
Nah.
In terms of
Yaron, it's a Yaron. We'll get.
I disagree with it. I've heard that a lot, and I disagree because Yaron's issues were unknown. His are known, so it's
I
easy
get
to
it.
manage.
I think outside of that, if it means we will knowingly walk into that door. Now, I'm not knocking that kid, right? But from what I've heard, again, hopefully I'm wrong, but from what I've heard, those behaviours haven't changed, right? So if those behaviours haven't changed, how do we expect him if we bring him in? They're automatically going to change. That won't happen.
It would need to have changed long before clubs start talking to him if he's serious, I guess. But we'll have to see what happens. What happens there?
There was a comment here. I don't want to ignore it. I'm trying to do. Where are you?
While you're searching for that,
obviously go ahead.
The come out was in relation to the potential rule changes for the draft next year in relation to father, son, and academy bid. So it looks like they haven't officially finalised it yet, but it looks like there won't be a lockout. But teams who are wanting to match bids of these high-end picks are going to have to pay a significant amount. So I think the example given, and I don't know how real this is going to translate when it comes draft time, but the example given was that if Walker's bid on at pick 1, that Carlton would need to find pick 2 and pick 12, something like that, to be able to match. Yeah. So it leaves the door open for clubs to match, but they're going to have to actually shed some quality to get picks in to be able to do it, which I think is fair and reasonable. Not sure if that does open the chances up for getting Walker or not. I still think Carlton will find a way to manufacture the picks to get it done, whether he's got 1 or 2. But it will be interesting to see how it all plays out and what they officially land on. But it's nice to see a few Carlton people being a bit squirmish about it.
Yeah, there was a comment here asking me who do I think will draft. For me, all I want us to draft, don't worry about the name, but I just want speed and football disposal, elite disposal. That's what I want. Speed and disposal. Everything else we can fix, but we need out of these 2 picks to get that speed and disposal. So
my players would be, I would want to go after Sam Cumming with one of our picks from South Australia. He's got some good speed away from stoppage, plays senior football, plays midfield and half forward. In his second senior game, I think he had 25 touches, kicked 3 goals. Sullivan Roby's the one that obviously the name's all about in the chat. And I just don't know. I love him and I love how much he's burst up onto the scene. I just don't know if he's worth pick 4. We'll have to see his combine. He obviously played with a cracked collarbone as well. What the tricky part is if Essendon have the 3 picks after us, I don't see him getting past those 3 picks. Yeah. So if we want him, we will have to take him at one of those higher picks. And that's where I think it's going to be really interesting. Sam Grill's the other one too that's has obviously been well and truly linked to us and played VFL and things like that.
The thing is, one thing I did hear, which I haven't asked him, can I say it, but I will. One thing I have heard, the only, which is getting warmer, I'm not saying we're definitely going to do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. With pick 3, let's say it stays at 3, right? We split it to 2 first-round picks. But what I'm talking about, high-end first round, is still within the top 10, if possible. This is why we'll entertain it. If we sort of got an idea of what Essendon's going to pick to what players we want. That means we can go. So I've heard that.
I've seen if people float, like would Essendon, say if it's 2, would they trade 2 for 4 and 5 so they can definitely get
something like that? If they've got a player that they want that's not our target,
I don't know how viable it is, but
I can see us doing something like that. It wouldn't surprise me. But for me, the type of I don't want any hybrids. Sorry, I want, if you're a midfielder, pick a elite midfielder, pick an elite winger. I don't care if they've only got 1 string in their bow, if they're elite at it, and that addresses a need. That's my hope. But our Blair knows us inside and out. So,
Punrace wants to know. You mentioned about the hopper noise still not going away. It's literally just like there's not a lot of.
I can't tell you there's a club that's come out and made him an offer. No, I'd be lying to you if I did. What generally happens is This time, well, not now, but they're right in the midst of it. Is when managers start talking to other managers, right? And I've got a strong feeling that Hopper's manager is talking, hey, what do you think of Hopper? Any chance? Not like he's actively wanting to leave Richmond because he loves Richmond, loves his time at Richmond, but it's a business. And I think the guy wants to continue playing finals and flags. And so he's sounding it out. One I heard, funny enough, was Collingwood. They come up, but I'm not holding any weight to it. I'll confirm that as we go along. But I heard Collingwood was a name that was mentioned with Hopper in mind. So we'll see where it goes.
Just on that RFC, I mean, he wasn't selected for the Rangers because he was playing at Roeville, so he kind of went there halfway through. But it's funny because Ed Pascoe, who does a mock draft and used to be a part of Draft Central, was asked the same type of question. And he made mention that if you actually look at all of his games, he statistically has played really well for almost every game he's played in. It's just now when he gets the midfield minutes, it becomes more prominent. So there might be a bit more body of work behind his football than what people are giving him credit for. But it just kind of hit the headlines in the last 6 or so weeks. But there will no doubt be teams climbing up the order to try and get access to him, I feel, no matter what. Trying to see if there's any other questions in here J-Tog, you asked about lockdown. I know this isn't the quote, but previous up further about lockdown players. How does everyone feel about that? It was interesting, talking to Andrew Rains about it last night, how the role of a tag has kind of shifted from your Ryan Crowley days where it was you're watching the man and not the ball to a Josh Dunkley type who will mark you, to use a soccer term, at a contest, but can hurt you the other way.
Yeah.
We've obviously used Jack Ross in that role. Camden McIntosh we used, but is no longer there. So I suppose the question is, do we look to use a tagger in games? I mean, we saw what Sheasel did and things like Dacos, and if we do, it's going to be at the expense of a potential midfield rotation for a kid. Do we want to do that, or would you rather just go head-to-head as a learning with kids and whatever happens, happens?
I want to go the Hardwick way. What Hardwick did, he never tagged. Right? People used to scream at him, why aren't you tagging? You know why he never tagged? Because that midfield group all will mind that player. If you have the right system.
So team defense.
Yeah, get us to a point where player A can hand off to player B, which can hand off to player C. So if you're in the forward line and you see Dacos coming in, you know the best forward that will match up with him straight away goes to him. And then as he goes to the midfield, the best midfielder that's been instructed, if you see Dacos, go to him, and then he'll peel off man him. Because that way, what happens is Dacos is playing against 3 players that are going at full speed. Dacos will tire. That's the best way to do it. That's why so often with Richmond, I remember when the best illustration I can tell you is when we played Geelong in 2017, the semi-final. And the statistics came out for Dangerfield. And that's what we did with Dangerfield. We 3-lined him. And he had the worst disposal record, percentage of kicks hitting a target or hands hitting a target of any game he's ever played. And after the game, he sort of mentioned that he was absolutely knackered, that we ran on him and we ran. So that's how we need to do it.
It's funny you say that because I agree. I think we are trying to do that handover. I did notice a lot during the year that it did fall down. And I think that's just an experience thing. If they get it right, though, it'll work well. Dutchy, I'm all over this, mate. I'm with you 100%. I can really see Ryan Mansell get redeployed as a lockdown defender, especially.
And he would love it. He would love it.
If we acquire a Butler or a Roses, then this move makes perfect sense, because if you go into any game that we play, the small forwards kill us. Broad and Vlosten, bless them, aren't the quick as they used to be. Neither is Shorty. Sam Banks is doing his own offensive rebounding. Trainers, I mean, he's quick, but he's not small forward. Like a Bobby Hill's going to torch him, right? And I really do think there is a need for Mansell to go down there and play a lockdown when we come up against a team with a really good small forward. So I really like that. At whose expense, I don't know. That's the $1 million question. But I really like that. You'd like to see him there too, Tiggs?
Yeah, 100%. The question for me is, I know we're going to have clubs coming after Brown and Banks, right? They're going to ask the question. They all do. They're going to, any interest? Can we do anything? See, for me, short is. I look at our back line, and short for me is the odd one out. Let's say we bring Mansell in as a lockdown. We've got is Banks run out of that back line? I reckon while we've got Short in there, that's why Banks is there, right? And then we've got, if we keep O'Brien in the back line, that's where some of the run is coming from. Yeah, it's bloody interesting. It's just for me short. I wonder if his name gets mentioned. If it's not this year, it's next year. Because I sort of don't see it's going to be a big year for him. Because he didn't have a great year. He had a bog average one in his standards, by his standards. Some really good
I thought
games,
he came back well from his injury.
He
I thought he came back a better player in the second half for sure.
Yeah, he did. But for him, even with the team around him, yeah.
What about?
And I rate Short. Don't misunderstand me. I love Short. I do love him. But do we need attacking flair off the back line, or do we want a grunt that will lock down and hurt someone?
Yeah,
that's going to be the question we've got to ask ourselves. But that's what I meant.
Mansell might do both. Mansell might be able to give us offensive run as well. He's a bit of a
that was my first point. We want to see the coaching group to go, okay, this is the side we're playing against. Let's change up the team to our strengths actually maximize their weaknesses. That's what I want to start saying, and then you can change all of them around. Yeah,
makes sense. What about Kane McAuliffe? We're going to start having too many midfielders shortly. I think he was playing really well up until he got hurt. Like off limited game time, to still be getting 18 to 20 disposals from 68% game time was really, really good. Yeah. I thought he had a good point of difference in the midfield as well. And he definitely needs to be another one of the players that go through that midfield rotation. What's his secondary position though? I mean, does he go to half forward? I don't know. Or is he just bench midfield? I'm not sure if that's sustainable for a full season or not, but I really like what he offers. I hope his body holds up for next year. I'd love to see him get 15 to 20 games.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I'd love that too. But if Smiley's, knock on wood, stays perfectly fit, and he's in the guts, and then you've got Lawler in the guts, then you've got Houghton in the guts, then you've got Taranto, you've got Hopper doing spurts in there, and you've got Prestia. So it's going to be very hard. Our midfield's going to come from to my opinion, people are going to yell at me, our midfield was our worst line. Even though people say about the forward line, and we know, for me, our midfield was our worst line. It was just, it only did one thing well, and that was it. And I think hopefully the club realises that, because if your midfield is disjointed and is not functioning properly, it affects your forward line and it affects your back line.
Yeah, agree.
Right? So that's your most important line, in my opinion. Games are won from the centre. They're not won from the... Helps you win from the front and it helps you win from the back. But if you don't have a centre, you're screwed. So it's going to be fascinating to what they do this off-season based on our really elite talent that we've got that can play there, how they perform in the off-season, how they start to develop, and see how they go into next year.
And Smiley's been mentioned a few times, and a few people in chat have acknowledged this as well, that weirdly, he's almost going to be like a third draftee for us
the first
next
number one
year,
pick.
which is going to be awesome. And I was so thrilled to hear him training still, as Uze mentioned on SEN the other day. Really good. And for me, there was obviously, I'm not going to go into it at all. There's obviously a lot of speculation stuff thrown around over the journey, which you don't really need or want. But the fact he's out there training now, to me, says a lot about his professionalism, that he's wanting to get this right. Because my worry was that once the season finished and, they all go away and do their own thing, does it undo the work he's made? And then he's sort of back to square one. And maybe they realise that too, and maybe that's why he's there doing the hard work now to keep up this program, to hit the ground running for pre-season. And I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I'm pumped to hear that he's out there doing the hard yards now.
From what I've heard about him, he did that even as a junior. That's the type.
Professionalism.
He's a leader. He's a professional. Mate, I can't wait. I promise you guys, when his first game, we do this, Michael's first game, we do a live stream of that game. I'll do live commentary with that game, the first game he's playing, and I'll do it without any pants on. All right?
Without any pants on?
That's how excited I'll be. I don't care if he gets full disposal, but to see him running on that ground, you'll see him, mate. I just love this kid. I'm super, you can tell I'm moderately excited to see him, but he's a talent, mate. He's a talent.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
He's going to be good.
Almost wouldn't mind seeing him on a wing. I know we're probably just throwing every name possible onto the wing, and hopefully
he's a
one
unicorn.
sticks. But
this is what I don't know. Do you see many junior games of his?
Probably not outside, not prior to the 18s. No,
he's a midfielder. This is the talent we have, right? I hope you guys understand this. He's not a hybrid. He's a pure midfielder. But because he's so tall and he's so smart up here, you can plop him and he can run all day. You can plop him on the wing and he'll just run all day with neat skills. Or if you need a half forward that can be the Dustin, he'll do that. He can play. He's smart at the back line. He's got beautiful burst pace. Well, what I mean, his first 5 steps
from stoppage, yeah.
He's illegal to be that fast for a guy his size. Illegal. I've never seen a player his size. Picture grips in the guts, but having the speed of the fastest player in the AFL in the first 5 steps. This kid is insane. And what I love about him, it's not his kicking for me that really got me zone, is his hands in traffic.
He's very similar to Sam Lawler. They released handballs into space. They're very good.
We're going to have 2 of them. And that's what you need to become an elite side. If you can keep them together and everyone build around them, which we're doing. You can see it. We're getting that forward line. We've really not touched. We've got Gipkus and
Trainer.
Again, this bloody no. What's the trainer? Yeah, fucking it's Stark. That's what happens. Trainer, I could see him, but I don't know his name. Trainer, you've got Trainer, but we need to still bleed youth into that. Even though we've got Vlosten and I'm excited, as you can see, but this guy's a unicorn.
Smiley's about 202 centimeters now, and I'm only joking. I think the club last said 196. I think it was
196. He'll probably start next year at 197. I reckon 97.5. Picture Cripps, but if he could actually hit a target by foot and was faster.
I guess he maybe lost a bit of that speed with his growth spurt and size, but I think that's what they're getting back for him now.
Speed. He's got the speed. He's got the speed.
I like him.
I love him. I love him. Sorry, no homo, but I love him. I'm really excited.
Punt Road's all over. You're making Punt Road really excited in round 1 so far away.
I'm excited.
On pre-season stuff, I'm really hoping to be able to do a bit more stuff with the club in regards to match sim this year, because that's something that I think us as supporters missed out on massively. We had no news on that other than Caesar, who's done God's work on Punt Road and putting training reports out. So I'm hoping we can do a bit more stuff there to get a bit more access and information and footage on some match sim. So we'll watch this space.
Could you just put Hops' comment on? Yeah, spot on. I don't do. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
You'd go after Lockie Doverston?
Yeah, I would.
Is he? See, I don't know if he's a reach at pick 3 or 4. If we split picks, I could see that happening.
Yeah, if we split picks, yes. Even if he addresses a need. See, this is for me. If you're only got 2 drafts, what you're doing is picking the eyes out of it. You're not caring about what you don't. How can I say it? The overall currency of the player. What you're going is when you're doing that with only 2 picks, you're going, okay, I need these assets. These are the 2 best players that complete that asset for me. They might have other weaknesses that really don't affect us. If you sort of understand what I'm saying. So their draft position is irrelevant. We all go for those 2 players to help us continue our build. So that's the reason for it. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. There you go. Good question from Paul. Who's your tip for the Rising Star next year, Taj or Smiley?
Smiley. No, look.
Really?
Look, I don't want to. No, because Smiley's probably watching this and he's going to think, this guy, what is he, my grandpa? No, but really, Smiley for me, if Smiley gets to play all games, let's say if Smiley plays 15 games, I reckon he'll be a Monty for the Rising Star if he plays. Because the reason why is this: the Rising Star's a bit of a. If you've got that dashing look, like he's got that blonde hair, he's got the surfer look, he's got the height, he's got the presence.
You can't miss him. The dude's a giant. He's a massive kid.
So if he does 12 touches, 10 touches, but people will see them. It's like Lawler. If he had played all, 15, more than 15 games, he would have probably won it. I
don't know. Murphy Reid was pretty good.
He was. Yeah, but he was good. If he can just show his talent and get consistent ball, and I reckon he'll be a Monty.
I think Taj is an equal chance.
Oh, me too. I love
win
Taj.
It too.
Yeah,
the problem I've got is the people who do the Rising Star notoriously hate Richmond. So that's where our issues might actually be, that they may not get a bit of love.
On the committee.
Don't get
God, what a corrupt organisation that is.
A couple of extra ones we'll take questions on before we wrap up. Josh Gipkus into the mix. And again, Jed, good call, mate. Almost another new recruit. My concern is, where do we fit him? Because I don't see a world where we can play Bolter, Miller, Gibkiss, Trainer in the same side.
My worry is his confidence.
Yeah,
look, no,
yeah. I think he
I
would have
don't-
got a lot of confidence from that last game.
Yeah, but is it? But my what? No, see, this is the thing that's great with the picks that we've got. Gibcus and Traynor, forget their height; they're mobile, right? They can play on a small if need to, so they really don't conflict. Like, so you got Bolter, who's another one high mobility, and if we use him as a secondary ruck to replace Nank, so he's got a role. He's hypermobile. So you've got three talls, but they're super mobile. So they can play on mediums and smalls if you need to. But and then we've got Banks and Bloston. That balances out if we need to get a small really locked down. So no, we can play them. They won't. I don't see them conflicting. Only if, and I love Gibcus, if Gibcus' injury doesn't mentally say to him his mobility starts to be too on rails, because that can happen with something like, remember Ben Holland? I loved him when he was in the back line. Then he did his knee and he came back, and it was like he was a train track just running. But he had bone on bone back then. But hopefully, his confidence gets up and he plays how he used to. You know, when those people are going for marks, and he would be the one going, right, yeah. Hopefully he does. But no, those three players, Bolter, Traynor, and Gibcus, they won't conflict. I don't see that conflicting. If it's because of their traits that they have.
Fingers crossed. All right. Well, I reckon Smiley plays round one.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Just, it'd be my Father's Day.
Get him out there.
I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy if he played round one.
All right. Well, that is probably about a wrap. The only other thing I find information on it, but if you go to the club's Twitter account, I just tried the website, but I couldn't see it. They are having for lack of a better word, a garage sale at the club in the coming weeks for all of the, past player worn training top shorts, socks, footballs, whatever. Usually pretty good prices. Go to the club's Twitter. I'm pretty sure they posted it there. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. Make sure you get down there and check it out. I remember I went to one they had many, many years ago, and I got a pair of Richo worn wide away shorts, which I still have to this day. So, yeah, go down there and
how often do you smell them before you go to bed?
I use them as pajama shorts.
God, I love Richo. I could just picture you. Okay, I'm ready for the day.
I think the dog bit a hole in the crutch area. Which
the dog bit the hole.
They've been washed since Birdman. I'm not sure how they arrived to me, if they were washed or not, but I wasn't too phased either way. Either.
Oh, that's funny. All right, I'm going to call it short. I've really tried to ignore it, but I've got a splitting headache, absolutely splitting.
No worries, mate. I appreciate your time as always.
I can see myself start mumbling and start rabbiting on.
That's right. Well, we can reconvene in a couple of weeks and see what the news is. But,
yeah.
But even just these even if there's no trade stuff, right? It's just good to chat about football ideas and what's happening next year and get everyone in chat's thoughts as well. Just good debate and discussion. It's awesome. So thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. We appreciate the love and support. Tiggs, thank you for jumping on, mate. And,
thank you, guys.
Really
appreciate it.
We'll see what happens in the coming weeks in terms of trade stuff. Hopefully we hear something about Malcolm Roses or whatever might happen there.
Yeah, well, apparently we've heard that he's nominated us. So,
no one else could find that on SEN to substantiate. I'd heard from a few different places that he was going to, but nothing's come out.
I heard he's leaning, the way I got it, he's leaning towards us, right? But he's leaning towards us. So I've heard that. But
because I heard that there was maybe a job offer for his partner or something in Sydney that was maybe being persuasive as well. You don't know how much to read into any of that stuff, I guess, but go on, Hawk Team. You've got about 30 seconds to get your trivia thing.
Go, mate. I'll stay for you.
Toilet.
Go, Hawk. Go, Hawk, mate.
I've been drinking too much water. We'll see what comes out. And the draft stuff, there's going to be more draft stuff. I'm doing what have I got on? I've got a couple of different mock drafts coming up with some different creators over the next couple of weeks, which will be good. Even got one with Jesse from True West Coast to talk about, I suppose, what's going to happen between our two sides with bidding and who's taking who and things like that. So there'll be plenty of different draft content with people with different ideas and thoughts, and so that'll be interesting. We also had the video today on Harley Barker. Go and watch the Andrew Rains interview on the YouTube page. And drop a like for Mike. Do that. Drop a like. The fact is, in the draft, Gibcus and Traynor were the best defenders in the respected feats. They are. Yep. But I think
they don't clash.
No, the overarching point though with Gibcus is purely around his confidence in his own body and the belief. If he gets that back, he will be flying, and it will be.
It's brutal football. Like, I have the faith in him to get back to what he is. But you know what? If he does his knee again, even though I love him, it'd be like we have to move him
It's
on,
a tough
which
kid.
is brutal, isn't it? It's
It is.
That's why I don't hold it against players that leave. You know, if
Yeah.
they want to leave, because. But yeah, no, I hope with everything. Yeah, he's just a natural defender. He just knows where the ball. He's for us our Andrews.
Yeah,
But just with
that's
a lot
good
more
call. Yep.
mobility. You know, a natural
Yep.
defender has the ability to know when the ball's coming before the actual kicker kicks it. He's got that feeling, and it's it's going to improve our side immensely.
This is a good one too from Noah. Cal Toomey did drop an article tonight with a bit of a chat he had with Louis Callaway. I encourage everyone to go and read it. Really, really good.
I read that. It was good.
There's
article.
no real guarantee yet that we're going to get him if he nominates us and if we can find a way to get him. But I would love to get him at the club, and hopefully it's for free. But thank you again tonight, everybody.
Do you reckon another club will take him this year?
Maybe.
If he doesn't nominate, you can hold him to next year?
Oh, no, just if someone bids on him or wants him this year, I guess. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that's...
Yeah, we're going to have to get him. We're going to have to get another draft pick in.
Well, it depends on where he goes. If he goes after a certain point in the draft, I think somewhere around the 40s or 50s, you only need a spot. So we'll have to see how that...
I doubt he will last 40s and 50s.
Yeah, I thought he would go higher as well, to be honest. So
yeah, I've got him around about 30, 35, mid-30s. That's right.
Yeah.
Because he's a talented footballer.
Agree. He just doesn't...
Really talented footballer.
He doesn't have an elite trait, but he does a lot of things very well.
But you need that solid workman. You need that solid work. He's a Lambert.
Yeah.
In that sense, really good traits, but none really super excellent, but a whole heap of good. And you need that from the kid. Yeah, you need that from the kid.
Thank you again, Tiggs, for tonight. Thank you to everybody in chat. We appreciate love and support. And until next time, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.